Hello everyone. Welcome you all in the last segment of the lesson. In the last PPT, we have discussed about literacy and education and also occupational structure in India. In this segment, we are going to talk about migration, classification of migration and also impact of migration on population. So let's start. Rural and urban composition. Rural means village and urban means city. The division of population into rural and urban is based on the residents. They differ on the basis of their lifestyle, livelihood, and social conditions. The lifestyle of rural people can be varied than urban people. It is due to their level of education, because of their occupation, and even their beliefs. Livelihoods in rural area is also vary than the livelihood in urban area. Most of the people in rural area are engaged in primary occupation. So, occupations like agriculture, mining, fishing, forestry can be seen in rural area, whereas most of the people in urban area are engaged in secondary and tertiary sector. Even the age, sex, occupational structure vary in rural and urban area because rural people tend to move towards cities for the occupation, education, and many more other reasons. Density of population can be less in rural area due to the migration. Due to all these conditions, level of development is also less in rural area as compared to the urban area. But the criteria for differentiating rural and urban population can be varied for country to country. That means if we will talk about village in India and countryside in UK can be different in many aspects. So the same criteria would not be applicable for rural and urban population in different countries. So now let's talk about migration. Migration. When an individual or group of individuals move from one place to other, from one political boundary to other, for lesser or longer duration, or permanently, is called as migration. This may happen in pre-planned manner or may happen suddenly. It can be either voluntary or involuntary. Let's discuss with one example. A family from India is migrating to UK because of better opportunities in case of jobs. So this migration is pre-planned and it can be for longer duration and definitely it is voluntary. Now let's talk about another example. A family from any part of the world where warlike situation is occurring. So the family wants to move to other place. In that case, the migration could be sudden and it is also not voluntary. Even it cannot be for longer duration. Thus, the migration brings change in the population in the respective regions. It affects on population density, patterns of population, and structures of population in both the regions. Migration can be classified into various types on the basis of their region, duration, intention, and even distance. Migration can be classified on two factors. One is on the basis of region or on the basis of duration. On the basis of region, further classified into internal migration and external migration. Based on duration, it can be divided into short term and long term. Let's discuss each one of it. On the basis of region, migration can be further classified into internal migration and external migration. So let's discuss about it. Internal migration, where people migrate within the boundaries of their country from one state to another state or one city to another city. For example, in India, a person who is moving to Mumbai from other state can be considered as internal migration, whereas external migration can be defined as where people leave their country and move to another country. For example, moving abroad for higher education from India. Second type of migration is based on duration. It can be further classified into short term and long term. Let's discuss about it. Short term migration means the type of migration where for limited time or season people migrate from one place to other. For example, some tribes travel seasonally in search of fodder. Fodder means food for animals. It is called as seasonal migration. So tribes like Gond, Bhils, Banjara travel for their fodder and some other purposes for a short time period. That is called as seasonal migration. Another example, that is in Maharashtra, more labor is needed during sugarcane harvesting. These laborers work in sugarcane fields, but when there is no work on the farm, they go to the city and work as laborers. Second type, based on duration, is long term. People move to new places where it is not decided whether they will return soon or not. For example, people from India have migrated to the United States of America. If the person returned to the original place after a very long time, it is called as a long-term migration. But if the person never returns to his original place, it is called as permanent migration. Migration can be also voluntary and involuntary. After discussing types of migration, we are going to talk about the reasons behind migrations. Why people migrate? So there are n number of reasons due to people migrate. Physical reasons behind the migration. Series of natural events like earthquake, volcanic eruptions, droughts and flooding force people population to migrate from one place to another place. For example, the flood which occurred in 2013 in Uttarakhand forced people to migrate from such area. Even tsunami which took place in 2004 asked people to leave the area, vacate the area, those who are living nearby coastal plains. Second reason is economical reason, where people migrate in search of jobs, businesses, improve their standards of living, and so many things. Third reason is social. It may happen a certain group is asked to migrate forcefully due to discrimination. As we all know, India is having lot of caste discrimination since hundreds of years. So due to this certain discrimination, superiority of the higher classes, many lower classes, backward classes were asked to leave certain area because of certain reasons. Education, health, medical facilities, and marriage can be the reason behind migration. Example, Pune is considered as the educational hub. So many students from different parts of the world migrate to Pune to get the education better quality of education, and so on. Even there are many centers of health facilities, medical facilities, where people migrate or come for a particular period to get the better health facilities and medical facilities. This is called as medical tourism. Marriage can be also considered as the reason for migration because in our Hindu culture, women are generally leave their parental houses once they get married. Political reasons can be where sometimes war or political problems may arise in a country, and in that case, people from the country migrate and seek refuge in another country. For example, after the partition of India and Pakistan, many people, many Hindus were asked to leave Pakistan and many Muslims were asked to leave India. So thus they shifted, they migrated to the respective country and thus they became refugee in other country. Similarly with Bangladesh. With this all discussion, one can conclude that there are n number of reasons behind the migration. It could be vary person to person. So factors which are responsible for migration can be classified into push factors and pull factors also. So let's learn about it in this next slide. Push factors and pull factors. So what is push factors? The factors that cause people to move away from their original places are called push factors. For example, reduced employment, wars, drought, or water and air pollution. So such reasons can be the reasons where people tend to migrate from certain area. For example, many states in India are not having that much potential to generate employment. So many people from these states migrate to particular states or cities where they can have employment. Even many wars in Middle Asia forced people to migrate from certain area. So thus, we can conclude here, push factors are the factors which are really forcing the people to leave the area and settle in other one. Now, what is pull factors? So when people are attracted to a region due to some factors, they are called pull factors. For example, education, availability of employment opportunities are considered as pull factors. Cities like Pune, Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Hyderabad, Bengaluru can be considered as the centers of education, employment, and so many other things. Due to this, people get attracted towards the cities, and so these are considered as pull factors. So after discussing types of migration, let's learn something about impact of migration on population. Migration affects on distribution and density of population. Migration takes place between two regions. One is donor, that means from where people live, and other is recipient region where people get settled. Population of a region require housing, water supply, transportation, health facilities, education, and recreation. In a donor region, migration cause less or no utilization of these facilities. Many of the AU villages in India are the example of donor regions. In such regions, sex ratio and age structure also change tremendously. For example, Kerala, where majority of men in the working age go to foreign countries for employment. So, the population of Kerala have drastic changes. Here, higher sex ratio can be seen because most of the men are working in countries like UAE, and the number of females are more in Kerala. Whereas the number of children and older people is also more as compared to the working population. After checking with the effects of migration on donor region, we are going to talk about the recipient region. So what are the effects of migration on a recipient region? So this region may face a pressure on provision of facilities. So facilities like housing, water supply, transportation may prove insufficient as compared to the population. A large chunk of agricultural land is used for non-agricultural purposes like housing. Prices of land increases. Lack of housing leads to increase in slums. Public facilities get affected very badly. Inequality rises and crime rates may also increase. So the metropolitan cities in India like Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata or Chennai are the best example of such conditions. These regions may have an unfavorable sex ratio, that is Mumbai or Pune, where working population may be higher than the age groups. But there is one more positive side of this migration, where great exchange of new ideas and concepts takes place. Due to this modern technology, these centers became the center of new research, and gradually development takes place in many aspects. With this, I wish to conclude the lesson. Hope you all have understood the lesson well. Bye bye. See you. Take care.